What's going on, Dividend Team? This is Phil with Millennial Money Gains, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we are going to go over the downfall of Intel stock, ticker symbol INTC. We are going to go over what I am doing with the position, how, if I'm holding it, if I'm selling it, or if I'm buying more, and much more in this video. If you guys are hyped for this video, please make sure you smash that like button. Also, please give a little love for Intel. Consider subscribing to the channel because Intel is just getting beaten down. So make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel to stay up to date on all of these types of videos. And I give you exclusive look inside of my own dividend portfolio right here on the channel. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. Hopping right into Intel, sitting at $28.05. I do currently have a position in Intel. I am holding 107 shares, 107 and a half shares. It's about 10.5% of my portfolio. And take a look at this because it is not pretty. Our position on Intel is down almost 41%, which is just about $2,000 just on this one position. This has definitely been my greatest loss in this dividend portfolio, and we're going to go over what we are doing with this position. Am I going to get rid of these losses? Am I going to buy more to try to offset these losses, or are we just holding the position? But before we do that, let's go take a look at Intel and see what's going on with their stock. So in the past year, Intel is down a whopping 41%. Looking at a 5-year outlook on a longer term, Intel is down on a 5-year period about 42%. Pretty crazy there. Year to date, so just about this month, they are up about 5.3% this month. And in the past 6 months alone, they're down about 30%. So really wild stuff from Intel. Their forward PE ratio is sitting at about 18.32. And they have a market cap of about $124 billion or so. We are going to hop right into their dividends because that is one of the main reasons I invest in them is for their dividend. So let's take a look at their dividend scorecard on Seeking Alpha. So Intel does pay a pretty attractive dividend. They have a dividend yield of about 4.85%. They have a 5-year dividend growth rate of 6.26% and a very modest 8 years of dividend growth. Their last dividend was about 37 cents per share, and they do pay a dividend on a quarterly basis. Now, going into their earnings call from yesterday, they did not cut their dividend, which is what a lot of people are expecting, but we're going to go in and see if they are able to hold that dividend. Let's take a look at the dividend growth. For 1-year dividend growth, Seeking Alpha gives them a C-, which is about 5% dividend growth, which is not great compared to the sector median, which is about 11.27. And Intel's 5-year dividend growth average is about 6%. Let's go take a look at their dividend safety. What everyone wants to see is their dividend safe. So Seeking Alpha does not have a grade for Intel. So we're going to take a look at it ourselves and see exactly if the dividend is sustainable under these conditions for Intel. Go over dividend history. So, like I said, they have 8 years consecutive of dividend growth, and they have been paying out their dividend for a consecutive 29 years. So pretty good there. That's awesome to see. Let's go over to the valuation tab on Seeking Alpha and see what Seeking Alpha rates them. So for valuation, they are rated a B minus on Seeking Alpha for their forward PE ratio, which is, like I said, 18.32, compared to the sector median of 19.86, which is about a 7.75% drawdown. Intel's 5-year average forward PE ratio is about 12.08. So it is, considering off their 5-year average, they are about 51% overvalued. let's hop over to the growth page. And Seeking Alpha gives Intel an F rating because they have a negative year-over-year growth of about 11% compared to the sector median of 16.89% and Intel's own 5-year average of 4.41%. Now let's hop over to the financials page and take a look at their revenues here. So as you can see here, revenues have been kind of stagnant, and actually in 2022 they have decreased significantly. Everything going on with the chip shortage and just chips overall, chip companies overall have been lagging in this regard. Let's go take a look at their balance sheet and see what they have going on here. We're going to go take a look at their debt. We're going to take a look at their cash as well. So they have about $11 billion sitting in cash, so pretty good there. That's what we like to see. Total assets of about $182 billion, and total liabilities about $32 billion. So that's pretty decent there. I'm not too worried about that debt ratio, although as you can see they are increasing the amount of debt, and this is because they are investing more into different warehouses and into their own company. So hopefully a long-term outlook, we will see some growth within the company. Let's take a look at total shares outstanding. So as you can see here, there's been a little bit of a decrease and then a little bit of an increase of total shares outstanding. Not too worried about that here. We are going to be looking for Intel to buy back some of these shares. That is what is best for shareholders at the current moment. But honestly, at this point, I am looking forward to them just reinvesting and trying to revamp the company. Let's head over to their cash flow, and this is going to determine if I think that their dividend is sustainable or not. So their net income, about $8 billion, significantly decreased over the past few years. So that is a little bit worrying to see, because their net income, I mean, they still have plenty of cash on hand to pay that dividend, but if Intel does not turn this around, then I do think that dividend has potential to be cut, which is one of the main reasons we are holding Intel, is for the dividend. So what is my plan with Intel? Let's hop over to the spreadsheet, and I want to show you what I got going on with Intel. So as you can see right here, we have Intel. Right, so we have 107.5 shares that we went over. My average cost is $47.51. Okay, so my yield on cost for their dividend is 3.07%. Pretty bad there. Not great to see, but they are paying me about $157 in annual income, which will be able to buy me about 5.58 more shares of Intel every single year, just with this dividend alone. So what is my plan with Intel? Since I do have over 100 shares of Intel, I am going to hold that for now. I will continue collecting that dividend, and I will keep selling covered calls on Intel every single week to try to counteract some of these losses here. So I have been doing that for a few months now, selling covered calls, and it has been pretty good. As you can see, let's go down here. Now remember, this is not all Intel from my covered call positions here. Especially this month, this is not all Intel. But we have been making some money back from this options passive income. This past week alone, since Intel had earnings, I did sell a $31 covered call on Intel. And I was able to make about $50 on it. So that was pretty good for that week. And then the stock dropped, of course. But that's my plan for Intel. I will hold it for now. I will keep reinvesting those dividends, and we will keep selling covered calls on Intel. And we'll see where we can get this position to go. As of right now, I am holding on to it. Now, this can change in the future. If Intel does decide to cut their dividend, then I won't be too happy with that, and I definitely, most likely, will not be holding the stock at that point. I will cut my losses at that point. But for now, I have a long-term outlook on Intel, and I still believe they are a strong company. Down 5-10 years down the line, I do believe we will see some amazing growth. So if you guys did enjoy that video, if you guys took anything away from this video and from Intel stock alone, please make sure you smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. We post here at least once a week. We are definitely going to up that. I think this is my 3rd video this week, so if you guys like that, please make sure you consider subscribing. I really do appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!